4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Rory Paddock from picksfromthepaddock.co.uk. I'm live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. It is Sunday. I'm trying to remember the date now. It's the 5th of Feb. Now, obviously, ITV is coming up relatively soon. By all means, if you'd rather see Ed Chamberlain and co, not going to stop you. But if you want to hear from this idiot for the next few hours, we'll watch a bit of the racing together. We'll discuss all the racing from Musselburgh, Leopardstown. I've even thrown in a couple of extra races as well to sort of fill in some of the gaps that we'll talk about, look at the form, answer any of your questions as well. So if you've got any questions, you've got any tips, put them in the comments below. I can bring them up on screen and we'll discuss them, whether or not that's Cheltenham, anything that went on yesterday. We'll try, or at least I'll try, and cover as much as I possibly can. And hopefully in the process, despite this ugly mug, make it somewhat entertaining. So it is just coming up to 1:15, and first race, might as well start there, that we're going to be looking at is going to be the 122 from Musselburgh. It's only 5 runners that are set to go to post. It's actually a relatively decent looking contest. It's a listed juvenile race, just under 2 miles. Tipped as the Bet365 Scottish Triumph Hurdle. Current 5-2 joint favourites. We've got Phil de Roy, Fergal O'Brien. We've got Affordil for Paul Nicholls. Fergal O'Brien's charge, Phil de Roy. It's absolutely been smashed. I couldn't have it personally. We've got obviously Unbeaten shared in there. Bit of a great start for my voice to go into. Perfect timing. Bit of a master versus the apprentice when you've got Paul Nicholls and Harry Derham now in the training ranks. Paul Nicholls, former assistant there, going up against each other, both with unbeaten horses, both who've only won one race each. Personally, I think the John McConnell horse, Bring Back Memories, is a course and distance winner. I think that deserves quite a bit of respect as well. I know, especially John McConnell horses, that he tends to be quite happy to farm his horses out over here, especially in Scotland. You'll see them running air, run at air even, or Kelso, and here at Musselburgh. It's gonna be a bit boring, but I'm gonna go with Affordil. I think now I say this, you know, as an armchair fan who's barely ever sat on a horse, who am I to judge any jockey? But Paul Nicholls sent a few up to Musselburgh yesterday, and the rides that they were given, they weren't the best. they weren't the best. It's nice to see Harry Cobden on board. I think that's going to be quite a telling factor. The horse certainly needs to improve markedly on what it's done so far. But I think that's probably easy to say that across the board with all 6 of these horses. They all need to improve basically just because of their age and their racing experience. I will say that perhaps the horse with the best form on offer, despite its price, is the rank outsider, Freddie Robinson. Brian Nelson horse, former course and distance winner. I mean, looking through the form book itself, it won here back about a couple of months ago, exactly 2 months ago. It was the 5th of December, over course and distance, 6-runner race, and that was a Class 2 race, purely based on, I'd argue, purely based on the class of the race alone. That's much better than Affadil's done, much better than Shaird's done, Phil de Roy, Bring Back Memories. It's form-wise, the others have been competing in Class 4 races. Freddie Robinson won a Class 2 contest and did it pretty well, in all honesty. That was on soft ground. It's got good ground today. Won by a massive 8 lengths. And I just think 50-1 is massive. Now, the downside is, obviously, 6 runners, you're only getting the first 2 places. That's why, despite the tempting price, you know what, maybe if we've got a few pennies, throw it on there, see what happens. But I think probably the better route to go here, and as you can see on screen, is I have gone for Freddie Robinson for a top 3 finish. Now, for those that don't know this market, some bookmakers will offer place term only bets. What that means between you and I is a horse to basically finish solely in the placings. You don't get a win bet. Very similar to an each way bet. You get rid of the win bet. But what they tend to do is they will offer an extended amount of places. So in this case, the bookmaker I've picked out, they offer the first 3 places, despite there being 6 runners. And with that, because you're only doing place terms only, it's obviously much smaller odds. You're not going to get 50-1 about that. You're not always going to get a quarter of the odds. But at what will be about 2-1, 3-1 for the horse to finish in the top 3, as long as it's got 3 horses behind it, just needs to finish in the first half of the field. And I think that potentially, based on form, is something the horse can do. Obviously, remember, put in the comments below what you're backing, what you think will win the 122, and we can make sure they pop up on screen. But as you can see from my microphone, we can see, although it's mirrored, it does say the word Silks. That's obviously with our partners, silksmagazine.com. So for the next 30 seconds, if you don't mind, I'm going to play an advert. That's silksmagazine.com. If you don't know, then you certainly should do now. Silks Magazine, basically a weekly e-magazine for horse racing enthusiasts. Obviously, preview all the big races. Even I'm in there. So, you know, someone who may occasionally talk a bit of sense when it comes to racing is in there. They'll have interviews. They've had really big name guests on there. They'll do features. They're certainly not afraid to share or give an opinion. Also, another thing is, if you do become a member or a subscriber to silksmagazine.com, you get a unique card, Silks membership card, which entitles you to discounts on fashion, retail, places to stay when you go to the races, drinks, hospitality, food. We're all talking about how expensive it is to go to the races. This is something that can save you an absolute fortune. If you go to the races regularly, you're saving 20, 30, 40, 50 pound every time you go, if not more, then it certainly adds up throughout the 12 months. And at $79.99, before you even add a few discounts, then you get the magazine for the whole year, which normally retails at £2 a week. So head on over to silksmagazine.com or give them a follow at silksmag on Twitter or Facebook and see whether or not it's something you're interested in. Anyway, we're not long away from the first race, the 122 at Musselburgh. We will see whether or not we can bring that on screen. Let's have a look. There we go. And see that there? 10 seconds to go. Now, obviously, because we don't have the rights to the race itself, we're not going to be able to show you all of it. I will show you the final stages. I will probably put in the commentary as well. But as far as I'm aware, I want to go with Affordale to win and Freddie Robinson to finish in the top 3. And we'll see what that does. Obviously, remember, throughout today, pop in the comments what you're backing, any questions for me. I'll go through them as best as I can. I'll make sure that I don't miss any out. And we'll discuss anything you want to discuss racing-wise. And hopefully, in the process, we'll also pick a few winners. Now, one of the things as well is, if you've not noticed already, Maidan is underway. It started at 10:30 this morning. If you've heading over to our Facebook or to our Twitter pages, we did give selections for them today. I like one later on this afternoon called Aquaman. I think it runs either 2 o'clock or 2:30. I will need to double check that. But last time I checked, it was as big as 25 to 1. I think that's way too big for a horse that absolutely should relish the conditions on offer at Maidan today. If we've got time, we'll sneak that in. But I think Aquaman at a big price over in Dubai, or the UAE, sorry, should go really, really well. And we'll certainly see whether or not we are underway in the 122. We are indeed. We're underway in the 122. Obviously, I'm going to have to give some really shocking commentary, I'm afraid. Or maybe we can get a bit of commentary. Let's see what goes on.
Landed over in 5th place. Freddie Robinson last off the field as they work up bias with a lap to go. The Scottish should try and hurdle. Very little in it for the lead. The Churchill lad shadows on the inside Fils de Roi as they head towards the bend. We bring back memories. The man of Brian Hughes scraping the inside of Affordale.
If you can hear that, hopefully you can do. Our horse is going pretty well.
Straight run shortly. The back two remain shared and Freddie Robinson as they make their way towards flight number 4 in the contest. And it's now a clear lead. The previous dual hurdling winner, the Churchill lad, who goes on from Fils de Roi, approaching this next hurdle now. Affordale lands in 3rd place. We bring back memories in 4th. Then Freddie Robinson and shared under Paul O'Brien, running towards flight number 5. The Churchill lad and Fils de Roi. And the Churchill lad was untidy at that flight of hurdles, just got in far too close, really. Gets away with it. Fils de Roi had to switch out a little wider now to get a good look at the final flight over on the back straight. Bring Back Memories that time was untidy. Mistake there certainly from Bring Back Memories in 4th position at the time. So they're about to exit out of the back straight. And it's the Churchill lad who leads the way. From Fils de Roi in 2nd, the yellow and red. Black and pink for Bring Back Memories in 3rd. Affordale is next in 4th. And then Freddie Robinson. And Shed is a nudged along back marker going towards the bend back in. And it's the Churchill lad who will lead them behind. The Churchill lad under Nathan Moscrop. From Fils de Roi in 2nd. Bring Back Memories is still travelling with a purpose back in 3rd. Affordale now shaken up. looking to get on turns towards the outside of the principal pairing as they make this run down towards 3 out. Peace to War. Just edging it now from the Churchill out. Bring back memories. Having a switch in behind. Affadil now looking to begin a bit of a rush down the centre.
Here comes Affadil travelling quite nicely.
Very strongly under Harry Cobden, racing on down towards 2 for the end. Affadil now puts it up to Peace to War. They're pretty much together over 2 from the end. The Churchill.
The joint favourites there vying for it.
Memories. They cleared away from Freddie Robinson.
Go on, Affadil.
The final flight of hurdles. And it's Affadil who's got a narrow call. Affadil over in front, just from Feast War, who's trying to battle a bit of contact between them. Back in third.
Hopefully we've got it. Go on, Harry, give it a nudge, lad.
Just going on through Feast War, another bit of a bump there as Affadil goes on to win. The Scottish.
Oh, he escapes it. There we go. That's how we'll hopefully. Hopefully, that's a sign of things to come. We start off there with a winner. Affadil did it nicely enough. To be honest with you, I think you could potentially take a few out of that race. The Churchill lad was finishing close home pretty well. Freddie Robinson also closed stages, ended up finishing 4th. Bet couldn't land there, but Affadil returned decent price. I'm not sure what the SP was. We'll have to wait for that to come back, but we shall see shortly. But yeah, Affadil, we'll take it. Did it nicely enough. 5-2. Thank you very much. And hopefully you got on. You can see there Freddie Robinson just finishing back in 4th. Ended up finding Phil Dewar and the Churchill lad just ahead, as well as obviously the winner. Let's see. Hopefully we'll see it on screen now what Affadil brings back in terms of a price. Any second now. I mean, yeah, he travelled nicely coming to the final 2. I actually thought that the Churchill lad, at this point, you can see it moving out, was going to potentially overtake it. I think it's once they jump this fence here. You can see that Nathan Moscrop gets it. There we go. You can just see it there. I thought potentially if it picked up. This is it here where it hangs slightly to the left. Thought if Nathan Moscrop can get that in a straight line, it's got quite a bit of energy left to potentially run the down. You also see that behind Freddie Robinson absolutely flies home. Obviously, could only finish 4th, but I think the Churchill lad could be the one to take out that. He ended up, whether or not he claimed 2nd, I'm not too sure. But yeah, got the winner. I'll take it, Affadil. I'm still waiting for the price to come up. Obviously, we can see their best odds being shown on the racing post, but I think that was in running prices, so I would take those prices with a pinch of salt. I mean, if you've got 7-2, then absolutely happy days. We will certainly take a bit of that. You see the head on here. Yeah, the Churchill lad, when it comes to a fence, is absolutely swung to his right there and then had to be pulled back out again to the left. Jockey Nathan Moscrop trying to correct that sort of movement, but don't know. I think if the horse could stay in a straight line, I think the Churchill lad is definitely one to take out. He's only had a handful of runs. I think that was his 5th start. But look, nothing away from the favourite, the winner, sorry, and that's just made our bank balance look a little bit healthier, so we can't complain, can we? Affadil there wins the 122. We're going to head from the 122. You know what? We can't show too much, so we will leave that. Next race up, we've got the 140. It's the first Grade 1 race there at Leopardstown today. Decent enough field. We've got another 6-runner race. Obviously, Gaillard de Menil, Adamantly Chosen, Iron Maximus, another Willie Mullins horse. I think Willie Mullins has 5 out of the 6. You'd kind of hope, classic Willie Mullins ends at most of the field and hope for the best. Look, they all have decent chances. It's a tough one to call. I think Gaillard de Menil, Mighty Potter, Adamantly Chosen all raced against each other, and there wasn't too much between them that day. So we've got to see what comes of that. What we will do, actually, just thinking about it now, what we will do, so we'll just have a quick look at this 140. But if you pop in the comments, tell us what you think will win the 140. Will Gaillard de Menil get one back over Mighty Potter? Would Adamantly Chosen return to being the horse that he once was? Kill Crew, the same can be said for that. Or did James Burley or I Am Maximus step up and show their mettle at this level? I'm going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more of the 140 from Leopardstown, and we will certainly see what goes on there. The first Grade 1, the first race from Leopardstown that we're going to be covering, and hopefully we'll end up with another winner. That was our brand new app from PFTP. It's completely free. We do race previews, daily selections, course stats, commentary, race cards, results. We've got the longest travelers each day. We've got absolutely all sorts on there. We've got our podcast, which is going to launch again soon. You can also see this live on our app as well. There's all sorts of extra content that you don't necessarily get on our website. So go, if you've got an iPhone, if you've got an Android, even if you've got a tablet, it's all accessible to every single device that you can think of. So go and get it. It's worthwhile and it's absolutely free. So next up is the 140. It comes from Leopardstown. It's in 8 minutes' time. Bearing in mind as well, if you are watching this, then this stream could be a couple of minutes behind. I will try and give my selections well in enough time for you to be able to make sure that you don't miss one, that, you know, that if you're going to follow my selections and you're brave enough to back them, then obviously I've got to make sure that I give you them enough time to, sorry, the joys of being a tall bugger, trying to move on a sofa with a camera, a tripod, laptop, all sorts in front of you. It's a bit of a nightmare, but anyway, I'm back. I'm here. So anyway, the 140, let's have a look. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a quick replay of when 3 of these actually raced against one another not that long ago. And hopefully this will give us a few clues. See there, Adamantly Chosen, Gaillard de Menil, and Mighty Potter. Can't give you the sound. I can give you this sort of short clip, short snippet. Can't give you the commentary. Again, obviously the rights and stuff like that. So, but it was a decent race this day actually. Back at Fairy House, I think it was back on the 4th of December. See there, it was Mighty Potter pretty much led most of the way. And Gaillard de Menil there in the yellow certainly gave the horse a lot to think about. Adamantly Chosen, I think, second from the right. It was handled carefully enough, I think, Adamantly Chosen, but just struggled a little bit. I think he finished 4th. I think they're there jumping the last. And Mighty Potter gets a decent leap, come the last. And, you know, does well to finish with its head in front. Davy Russell, Gordon Elliott, I think they're Adamantly Chosen. I think ends up in 5th. But I mean, in terms of the form of that race, you've got to respect Mighty Potter. Gaillard de Menil ended up going on and winning its following race, but that was over 3 miles. Back to 2.5 today. I think that's definitely Mighty Potter's sort of remit in terms of distance. The better ground, I think, will also suit Mighty Potter. It was a bit of a test that day at Fairyhouse. I think that probably played into Gaillard de Manil's hands a bit more. You've actually probably got to give Mighty Potter a bit more credit. The fact that it won the race pretty much from start to finish, leading in what looked really horrible ground. I mean, we think that it's soft over here in the UK. When it's soft in Ireland, it's very soft. I'm going to be boring again and pick another favourite, and it's probably absolute sacrilege. But I'm going to go Mighty Potter. That's my selection here in the 140. There's a part of me, knowing that Willie Mullins has 5 horses in this, that's basically going, you're an absolute idiot. Willie Mullins will be doing everything he can to win this, obviously. And considering he's got what? I'm trying to work out percentages here. What, something like 89% of the field? No, that's not right, is it? I'm trying to think what. Look, he's got most of the field, hasn't he? Then you've got to sit and wonder and question potentially. Yeah, he'll have about 8. Sorry, see, better with my maths now. He'll have about 82, 83% of the field, won't he? And you'll potentially think that there could even be, like we see it on the flat with Aidan O'Brien occasionally, even though it's not meant to happen. We do see it with sort of like team tactics when it comes to racing. It's probably a little bit easier to do that with the flats than it is to do with the jumps. But I don't think Mighty Potter will be given an easy lead. I think potentially one of the 5 Willie Mullins horses will be sent up there to sort of give Mighty Potter something to think about and perhaps cause a bit of a hustle and bustle and hopefully, or at least from the Willie Mullins perspective, drain Mighty Potter. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, a couple of minutes until that race, but I'm going to go with Mighty Potter to remain unbeaten over the bigger obstacles. I think it's probably Gordon Elliott's best hope of a winner for the whole of the Dublin Racing Festival, certainly for today anyway. And I just think Gaillard de Manil is probably the classiest of the 5 Willie Mullins horses. He got relatively close to Mighty Potter 2 starts back, but this isn't its trip. This isn't its conditions. This isn't the sort of race it wants. All things point towards another Mighty Potter win. I'll be foolish to try and, I think that there's some sort of major conundrum that needs to be solved. We shall see in a few minutes, though. But remember, pop your comments below. What do you think is going to win the 140 today in just a handful of moments? If you've got any questions as well, whether or not it's about Cheltenham, any other racing, any racing history, other bits and bobs, ask me absolutely anything. Pop them in the comments. I'll put them up on screen and I will endeavour to answer them as best as I can. Also, as well, if you want to actually get involved with the show, I can bring you on as a guest for a handful of minutes. If you've got a phone with a camera, that's all you'll need, then I can certainly do that. But by all means, let us know and we will try our best to facilitate that. Get you on board and you can have a chat with this idiot. But yeah, for the 140 at Leopardstown, I'm going to go with the favourite. I'm going to go with Mighty Potter to win the race. We shall see. But I want to take a quick 30-second break and then we'll be ready for the 140, the first Grade 1 race of the day, first of a handful. Also, why not tell us what your best bet of the day is today as well? You can certainly bring that up on screen. But I will be back very shortly. I'm back. There we go. It's the 140 from Leopardstown. It is 2 mile and 4 furlongs, I think. Just double check. Need to make sure I've got my readers and clean my glasses properly. It is a 2 mile 5, sorry. 2 mile 5, it's a Ladbrokes Novice Chase. It's a Grade 1 contest. There's 6 runners. They will be there at the post, ready to rock. So, without further ado, let's bring that up. Obviously, like I said, I can't show you all the race, just being mounted there. Have a look there. There's still, as far as I can see, in the paddock. So, there might be a little bit of a delay to the 140. So, with that in mind, I've got a bit of time. I'll bring that off the screen before I get into trouble. See there, 33 to 1, adamantly chosen. I think that's perhaps a bit too big a price, but again, it's just like the last race. It's really difficult with only the 6 runners. There's no way of looking for a bit of each way value. You could potentially try and do the forecast. I think that's going to be a tricky thing to decipher. You know what? Guns to my head, if I had to come up with what Willie Mullins' horse is going to trouble Mighty Potter the most. You know what? I might be foolish to disregard Gaillard de Manel, but a bit of a toss-up between James de Burley and Kilcroot. Kilcroot's a course winner, former course winner, sorry. But again, downside, I'm not sure if this is its trip. James de Burley has won over this distance, so we think that shouldn't be an issue. Gone to my head if I had to. No, life depended on it. I'll go for the green silks of Simon Munir, and we'll go James de Burley to finish behind Mighty Potter. What will be, and we'll shortly see whether or not the horses are just exiting the paddock. We can see on screen there. Speaking of which, James de Burley, and there is Mighty Potter there, running down to the start. That's my selection for the 140. Mighty Potter, currently priced even money. It's been backed into even money. It was 5 to 4, I think, earlier in the day. It's not been smashed, I don't think, but I certainly think it's Gordon Elliott's perhaps best chance of a winner this afternoon. Got to respect a lot of Gordon Elliott horses. I think a bit of my thoughts for Cheltenham, at least. I think a lot of his horses who didn't do as well last year will now be very well handicapped going to the big meeting at Jumps HQ in March. So, although I can't think of an abundance of Grade 1 horses, I'm sure you're all screaming at the screen now naming some horse that I just can't think of. But handicap-wise, I think potentially we'll see some really well handicapped horses come from Gordon Elliott, who had perhaps a bit of a lackluster or a laboured season last year. I think he's perhaps a bit obvious, isn't it? Going follow Gordon Elliott horses. Oh, well done, genius. But I think Gordon Elliott handicappers. I prefer Gordon Elliott handicap hurdlers than necessarily handicap chasers, unless it's over sort of extended distances, e.g. something like the 4 mile novices or something like that. But again, more of a novices race and different stipulations with that altogether. But no, I think Gordon Elliott horses in a few of the handicap hurdles at Cheltenham would potentially pique my interest and certainly make me jot down a note or two. Certainly a little bit of a delay here with the 140. See where they're at now. Let's have a quick nosy. Gander, they should be at the start, hopefully. Even money now, best odds you can get about Mighty Potter. Gaillard Manil 7 to 2, not far behind James de Burley at 4 to 1. We've then got Kilcroot, former course winner at 16s. I Am Maximus seems to be a bit of the proverbial bridesmaid. 2 runners-up spots in his last 2 starts. And the rank outsider at 40 to 1, Adamantly Chosen. Again, I think Adamantly Chosen, that's probably a bit too big a price for Adamantly Chosen. But again, sod's law with only 6 runners, it's also not an each-way viable price. I think if there was 8 runners, as weird as this sounds, although you've ended up with more competition, I think you probably wouldn't see a bigger price for Adamantly Chosen there than 40 to 1. I'd probably argue you might even be able to get 25s, 33s if there was 8 runners, because basically the more chance of that horse getting a place. Saying all that, I don't think it does much today. If it does, then hats off to it, fair play. To sort of turn that form around with Gaillard de Menil and with the favourite. If you were watching earlier, obviously you saw that race replay from back on the 4th of December when they all sort of came to a head and met up, and Mighty Potter finished first ahead of Gaillard de Menil in second, and Adamantly Chosen was fifth. Saying that though, Adamantly Chosen ended up finishing second last time out. Back to a bit of form, but not one for me. I Am Maximus is perhaps an interesting type, but again, it needs to show a lot more to compete at this level, I think, despite it sort of being a consistent sort of horse with its second. I mean, looking at the form there, it's not won since its last in its last 4 starts. It's not won. You have to go a reasonable amount of time back to think that the Danny Mullins ridden horse will have much of a chance. Beaten favourite last time, but no. It's boring, it's obvious, but Mighty Potter is the one for me. Yeah, it is. Now, you can see them there just walking around at the start. Hopefully, we are, 7 minutes past post time? I mean, come on. We've got other races. We've got Musselburgh action to get back into. So hopefully, seem to be entering onto the course. We should be getting ahead. Let's get a bit of sound. And hopefully, we can add another win to our earlier selection. So here we go. Good luck if you follow. Whatever you're back in, hopefully you end up smashing the bookies. But if I'm going to be honest, I'd rather it be the one that I've picked. Exactly. Hopefully the time can be made up. Now again, I'm not going to be able to show you much of the race, but we will listen to the commentary. And either way, if we hear a winner, you'll certainly hear me cheering it home anyway.
It's a solid choice, and it even money. It's not exactly spectacular tipping, is it? Mighty Potter as well, yeah.
Ruby Walsh is not exactly take a genius to pick Mighty Potter. Well, all right, Ruby, give us a break. Yeah, hurry up, Star.
Starters on his rostrum. Call him in, let him go.
Here. Let's go to Joe.
Here we go, folks. Good luck with whatever you're back in. Come on, the Potter. Hopefully it's a bit of magic.
White flag is raised. They're off in the Ladbrokes Novice Chase Grade 1. All aboard the favourite Mighty Potter, trained by Willie Mullins. They've 14 fences to jump, and it's the great Gaillard de Menil and James de Burleigh, the stable companions. And followed by Kilcrut and Mighty Potter in the red and white colours, adamantly chosen. I have Maximus, the final couple, turning off the back straight towards fence number 2. The first of 3 ditches. Gaillard de Menil shifts on by a couple of lengths to Mighty Potter, going up in between James de Burleigh and Kilcrut. James de Burleigh made a mistake there. Dropped to 4th. Adamantly chosen out in front of I Am Maximus as they corner towards the 3rd. Fence on the approach to the straight. And it's Gaillard de Menil up and over from Mighty Potter, Kilcrut. James de Burleigh adamantly chosen. And quite distance off them already is I Am Maximus. The 6th head turn into the straight to fence number 4. And it's Gaillard de Menil leading his Drinmore Conqueror, Mighty Potter, Kilcrut the near side, followed by James de Burleigh and adamantly chosen. I Am Maximus doing his own thing up the far side. Fence number 4. Not on landing James de Burleigh and the double green as they come up to past the winning post, having negotiated 4 fences. And it's Gaillard de Menil and Paul Townend in front, tracked by Mighty Potter, Davy Russell. In 3rd place is Kilcrut and Sean O'Keefe. Break of at least 3 lengths to James de Burley and Davin Jacob, with the final couple adamantly chosen: Brian Hayes, I Maximus, and Danny Mullins. 10 fences left to jump as they head on away to the first of a couple past the stands. In the lead is Gaillard de Menil, the long-established second-season novice. Made the breakthrough here over Christmas, followed closely by Mighty Potter, Kilcrod, James de Burley, adamantly chosen, and I Maximus. Order pretty much maintained, going to fence number 6. Mighty Potter hit that hard. Soon at the halfway stage, the first grade 1 of the afternoon, the Ladbrokes Rovers Chase over the extended 2 miles 5 furlongs. 8 fences left to jump. Gaillard de Menil, stoked by Mighty Potter and Kilcrod. These 3 covered by less than 3 lengths. 4 in front of James de Burley, who's followed by adamantly chosen and I Maximus. As they complete this turn, heading to the first of the fences down the far side. 8 left to jump. Gaillard de Menil. Matching stride, second and third, Mighty Potter and Kilcrod. 2.5 in front of James de Burley, who's followed by adamantly chosen. And continuing out the back, I Maximus. Next plate fence before the second ditch. Gaillard de Menil yet to be headed. Over well from Mighty Potter, landing the fractional second from Kilcrod. James de Burley and adamantly chosen, both in touch. Good 6 lengths in front of I Maximus. Less than a mile to go. As they approach the next of this line, Gaillard de Menil and Mighty Potter could jump up on the inside to get within the neck of the leader. In third place is Kilcrod, 2.5 lengths back to James de Burley and adamantly chosen, a little bit close from last place, I Maximus. The fence at the end of a circuit, 5 from home, and Mighty Potter jumped up on terms with Gaillard de Menil being followed by Kilcrod, James de Burley, and on the outside, adamantly chosen, I Maximus remains last at the sextet. 4 fences left to jump. And it's
Just the 4 left to go. So hopefully
they take it together, followed by
we'll go close when we get to a couple of fences from home. I will make sure that you see the final closing stages.
3 fences left to jump. The final ditch coming up. Gaillard de Menil wrestles back. A slender advantage over Mighty Potter. A length off them in third is Kilcrod. And James de Burley, adamantly chosen, and I Maximus. Tightening up with 2 fences left to jump. And it's Gaillard de Menil from Mighty Potter.
Here we go.
Grade 1 winner, aiming for a 4th. Is lying handy in second on the outside.
Great jump there by Mighty Potter on the outside.
Adamantly chosen. As Mighty Potter picks it up on the home turn. Taking over from the long-time leader and pace setter. Gaillard de Menil, then Kilcrod adamantly.
Travelling nicely. Adamantly chosen's not far behind. All the Mullins lot. We need a good jump here. You need to see it pull away, but he's not doing. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Is that going to be 2 from 2? Look at that. Storming away. And that is why it was Gordon Elliott's best bet of the 2-day Dublin Racing Festival. Mighty Potter, 2 wins from 2. Thank you very much. And that is how you do it. Very impressive. Now that, showed it can go left-handed. Showed I quite like Leopardstown form when it comes to a tilt at Cheltenham. So, yeah, Mighty Potter. We'll take that. That's 2 wins from 2. Goes with the Nichols horse earlier. It's not long to go, actually. It's the 1:55 at Musselburgh. I'm going to take another quick break. Hopefully you got on Mighty Potter. And then we are going to delve straight into the next race at Musselburgh. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. If you can give this quick stream a like or a share. Let other people know what's going on. But thanks for watching. And I'll be right back. Hello everyone, I'm back. That was another advert from our partner silksmagazine.com. If you don't know, then you should do by now. Head on over to @silksmag on Twitter or Facebook or on Instagram @silksmagazine. Certainly check out what they're up to. Next race is coming up thick and fast. It's the 155 from Musselburgh. So let's have a look there at the runners and riders. Let's see what we've got to decide for third. We've got Friend and Foe at the top weight there for the Paul Nichols yard, who I think is going to absolutely have it right off at Musselburgh today, especially now Harry Cobden's gone up for those rides. Fidelio Vallis, it's a horse that should be taken very seriously. Paul O'Brien won a big race on ITV yesterday. Dreams of Home for Don McCain, obviously former champion jockey Brian Hughes. I think it's reigning champion jockey Brian Hughes. Luca Morgan's Hasanki. I actually think if you're looking for one at a decent price, Hasanki would be worth a little play. Finished 6th of 18 in the Grand Annual, the Johnny Henderson, back at the festival. That's certainly some of the best form on offer in terms of anything the horses have done over the last year. That's a grade 3 contest as well. Compare that to the sort of level of opposition today. I think 14-1, with the bookmakers obviously paying the first 3, could be the way to go. I'll be honest, when I looked at the race itself, Hasanki was really tempting to go for as an each-way bet. Pay the Piper is a horse that finished second here over course and distance in a Class 2 contest off a mark, I think, of 143. It's now off a mark of 136 in a lesser race. Obviously, anything those silks, the green and red silks of Anne Hamilton, deserve plenty of respect at Musselburgh. Voix de Rêve, I think the Ian Jardine horse is perhaps a little bit too old now. Return Ticket, former course and distance winner. Saw Rebecca Menzies' horse do quite well in the last race. Whether or not they can pick up from that and go a little bit closer here. And then, again, those synonymous silks that are synonymous with Scottish jumps racing with the yellow band, the green silks. Craig Nichol on board Gold de Bois for Ian Jardine. Again, not one I could be with. The one I've actually gone for. Now, bearing in mind, we did all these graphics that you'll see on screen yesterday and early this morning. I've actually gone for, not Blue Lord, wrong horse. There we go. I've actually gone for Pay the Piper. Now, I did go for the horse each way, simply because at the time it was a horse that was around 5-1, 6-1. It's absolutely been smashed now into, I think it's near enough joint favourite at what is, let's have a look. What's the price now? Let's see. It's now 9-2. It did touch 7-2. It's back out to 9-2. I think if you've got 5-1, if you've gotten 5-1 for an each way bet to nothing, I think that was potentially the way to go. But hopefully it wins regardless. I'm going to go with Pay the Piper based on its course form, based on the fact that obviously this yard do well up here at Musselburgh. We'll go with that. Let's see what the state of play is. I think they are actually underway already. Are they? Let's see. Well, always good when the screen freezes. That's always really helpful. So if we give that a quick little refresh, we'll see what that does. They are underway, and we can see there our selection, Pay the Piper, is there in about third. Scottish champion handicap chase. Let's see. Could be coming into the closing stages now. You know what? We'll stick with them and we'll see what goes on. We're looking for the green and red silks of Pay the Piper.
From Friend or Foe, driven up on turns. Pay the Piper is next in third. Then Dreams of Home. Hasanki has been ridden along. Then Return Ticket and Gold de Bois. Fidelio Vallis is still going well at the head of affairs as they reach 4 out. He's over that one. He landed in front by the best part of 2 to 3 lengths. Over Pay the Piper in second. They've got clear from Friend or Foe. The final open ditch. 3 out. Fidelio Vallis over in front. Nearly joined though by Pay the Piper to the outside.
Here we go. We're going to make it 3 from 3.
And it's Pay the Piper who races.
Need a good jump now.
That 2 from the end. Pay the Piper landed in front. Fidelio Vallis tries to rally.
Just one left to
They've
go.
got right away from Friendle Fern, Dreams of Home. On the run down to the last.
Last jump. Go on, Pay the Piper. There we go, lad. Go on, Danny. There we go. Get up there. That's it. We'll take it. First three selections all go in. Happy days. Pay the Piper. That's the one. And it certainly has paid. Sorry, I missed a bit of that. That's don't blame me. Oh, there we go. We'll take that. We'll take that. Pay the Piper. Another winning selection. Well, I hope you have followed. Yeah, it's not a bad day so far. We'll go with that. I'll apologise though if that was a little bit late. I was trying to play a bit of catch up with the race over in Ireland, being I think it was 7 or 8 minutes late. But nevertheless, a win's a win, and we'll take it. Pay the Piper wins the 155 at Musselburgh. So, where to next? Where to next? Let's have a look. 155. We'll then go to the 210 at Leopardstown. Now, it's more likely going to be about the 2:15. But Blue Lord, the current 1-5 clear favourite. Dunvegan there. We've got Fast or Slow. We've got Gentleman to Me. And we've got UK Raider for Alan King, Sir Royale. I want to be boring. It's Blue Lord, isn't it? Let's not beat around the bush. Former course and distance winner. Actually, I'll put this out to you guys. What do you think if we're all pretty certain, or as certain as you can be, that Blue Lord's going to win? Who do you think finishes second behind it out of those horses? You know, does old boy Sir Royale come over here? Not coming over for a holiday, is it? He thinks obviously Alan King thinks he's got a chance. Does the second favourite there, Gentleman to Me, return back to anything like its best form? Does Dunvegan build upon its second place finish last time out? You know, and then you've got Fast or Slow for the Martin Brassel Yard, the rank outsider. Who do you think finishes second in this race? If we're relatively convinced that Blue Lord wins, I'll let you guys decide what you think there. But with that in mind, we will watch. Let's have a little look. What can we watch? Yeah, we'll have a look at Blue Lord being very, very convincing when winning previously. So I'll leave that with you to watch just how good Blue Lord can be. So that was Blue Lord being very, very convincing. Now, I don't know whether or not you were watching earlier on when the stream there kicked off prior, but I did say that Aquaman over at Maidan could go rather well. So if I can do, I can't promise you anything, but if I can do, hopefully we can watch that race. It might have already gone. It's the 2 o'clock race. Let's have a look. Unfortunately, we cannot But you can see that Aquaman now 16 to 1 was 25s. That was my selection there. So if you can get that bet on, I don't know if the race is underway now. I imagine it probably is. But yeah, Aquaman as an each way selection in Maidan. But I want to be boring again. I know I've gone for a few favourites today. Just to let you know as well, Affodil, my first selection, came back at a nice 7-2, which is always handy. And Pay the Piper returned, I think, 3-1 winner. Add that to Mighty Potter, Mighty Potter even. But selection here in the 210, it's going to be Blue Lord. I could try and do betting without the favourite, see who finishes second. Look, 1 to 5, you're not going to end up breaking the bank, are you? I think this is just a watching brief in terms of putting any sort of bets on. But I had to give a selection for the race, so here it is. It'd be silly of me to try and take some sort of out there take on the race. Blue Lord's the best horse in the race. It's 5-1 on favourite for a reason. Willie Mullins' horse, Simon Munir owned. It's done everything right so far. Touch wood, but they end up falling now. I'll have cursed it. Good old commentator's curse. But I mean, look, it's all going to be built for a crack at Cheltenham, isn't it? Where he's going to see some serious competition. But I mean, compared to the 4 horses in this race, and that's no disrespect to So Royal, who's been there and done it, but it's an absolute woeful level of opposition, isn't it, here with these 5 runners. It's not far off post time whether or not the powers that be over in Leopardstown can actually get the time back and recouped for the off time to get back to where it was or where it should be at 2:10. Not too sure yet. But hopefully you've been following us so far. First 3 races, all winners. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. I mean, I can't really cheer too much if Blue Lord goes and wins, can I? I mean, at what, 5-1 on, that's the best odds as well across all bookmakers. I'm sure there's going to be bookies that are offering even worse odds than that. But, you know, it is what it is. Blue Lord should win this. Again, if you're watching, pop some comments in the post. Pop your comments below. Any questions for me? Anything you want to know? Anything you want to ask? Anything you want to discuss? Tell us what you fancy today. And by all means, you can do. After this race, we've got another. Let's have a look. How many more races? If it's any consolation, I'm going to do a lot more than ITV have done. You know, I think they've missed a bit of a trick. Actually, there's a really decent Class 2 race, a handicap hurdle. I think it's a hurdles race from Musselburgh that's between the two. I think ITV are going Musselburgh, Leopardstown, and then maybe another race from Musselburgh. But then the last 2 races, they're going Leopardstown, and they're not including the race from Musselburgh, between the 2 Irish races. And I actually think it's probably the most competitive race of the day there, over at Musselburgh. So it's a bit of a shame, really, but don't worry, I'll cover it for you. I'm also actually going to take in a race from Hexham, where there's one that I think could go well, or do relatively well anyway. So hopefully we'll end up with a decent day. Let's have a look. What are they doing over in Ireland? And see whether or not they're even remotely close to off. Hopefully they will do. I'm sure the powers that be will want to get times back to where they're meant to be. No, they're still parading. That's always helpful. Still parading. Great. And we are now at post time. So there, Blue Lord. Oh, there we go. It's become great value at 9-2 on instead of 5-1 on. Gentleman Demise attracted a bit of support. It's now 8-1 from 9s. So Royale's drifted a little bit out to 11s. Dunvegan at 28. Fast or slow there. Still the rank outsider at 40-1. Look, I've put Blue Lord on the screen. That's what I'm going to go with. But I'll be honest with you. It's a woeful race to have a bet in, isn't it? You know, why don't you tell me, what do you think will finish second? If we're all convinced that Blue Lord wins. Gun to the head, and I have to do the straight forecast. You know what? If I had to, I'd go Dunvegan. I think Gentleman to me has lost what it had once in terms of what it means to race. I mean, it's a 7-year-old, so it's the youngest horse, or it's one of the 2 youngest horses in the race. But I think unseating, finishing 4th and finishing 6th doesn't exactly give anyone any remote bit of confidence that it's going to return to form, despite the fact it's from the yard of Willie Mullins. But no, I think Gentleman to me is one that you can probably put a line through and cross that off the list. I think Fast or Slow is in there making up the numbers. I think from the smaller yard, and that's no disrespect to Martin Brassel, I think it's in here to pick up a bit of prize money. Saying that, though, it does represent relatively big-time owners. So then I'm left with Dunvegan and Sur Royale. And I think purely based on the fact that Dunvegan's had just a couple of starts, and it's been handled a little bit more carefully than Sur Royale is, between the 2 veterans, I guess, in the race. I'd love to see Sur Royale to go, or Score Royale, however you pronounce it. I'm probably absolutely butchering it. My GCSE French was not what it once was, but it'd be great, especially like as some glimmer of hope for English trainers that have actually got the bollocks to send horses over here. Do you know what I mean? It's, let's be honest, the horses that they've sent over, they've not done out, have they? I doubt Top File Ben will do anything later for Philip Kirby, no matter how much I love the Philip Kirby yard. But they've just been sent over here to make up the numbers. Certainly not going to be an assault like the Irish have on Cheltenham. And it's a shame, really, because when you think of big-time yards like Paul Nicholls, who had Clanders Oboe come over not that long ago, not at this meeting, but win one of the big Grade 1 chases in Ireland, or was it Frodon? No, it was Clanders Oboe, wasn't it? You know, and it's a shame that a meeting like this, maybe it's one of those where the big time players, they want to keep the horses, or the handful of decent horses that the UK have, fresh and ready for March, probably. A little bit like a boxing record or a boxer that gets handled with kid gloves for his first 10, 15 pro fights, and needs to build up that winning record, and the thought of losing is heavens forbid. But you know, we've seen some superstars. We're going to see some superstars here at Leopardstown. We saw yesterday, and we obviously got the big race later on with Honeysuckle and Stateman and Vauban. That's going to be really interesting. Now let's have a look where we're up to now. Right, they're finally at the start. So when things get underway, I will make sure that you listen to the commentary. But no, gun to my head, I would go that. I mean, look, who doesn't love a grey? Look at how beautiful Dunvegan is there. Yeah, we'll go Blue Lord as the selection, because I need to have a selection, and we'll go Dunvegan to finish best of the rest. Behind, it's now drifting. It's drifting out a little bit more. It's now 4-1 on instead of 5-1 on. Almost a backable price. But no. Bit of support back for Sur Royale, bit of support there for Gentleman to me, and actually, bit of support there, 40s into 35s for Fast or Slow. But they're at the start. We can see the runners and riders there just being called in. Starter, I think, on its rostrum. On its rostrum, or their rostrum, sorry. Just being non-gender specific. But yeah, Blue Lord should win this. It should win it at Canter. I think it's a watching brief. It's not a race to have a bet in, to be honest. But there we go. The flag's up. And we will take in the action.
They're off in the Ladbrokes Dublin Chase, Grade 1, fielding 5 runners over 2 miles, 1 furlong, and 11 fences, and it's Gentleman the May. And alongside last year's second, Dunvegan, who take them on to the first fence below the stands, followed by Blue Lord and So Royal, and the same ownership, and the back marker is Fast or Slow. Dunvegan nudges ahead of Gentleman the May. Good run before they reach the second fence, with a break of 2.5 lengths back to the odds-on favourite Blue Lord in third. In fourth, the non-platted So Royal, and at the back of the quintet is Fast or Slow. Dunvegan Leading narrowly, Gentleman de May, tracked by Blue Lord and So Royal, faster slow, 55, as they set their sights on fence number 2. Gentleman de May, back level with Dunvegan, as they jump to second, then Blue Lord, So Royal, faster slow. Racing in between fences 2 and 3, and wide apart, Gentleman de May and Dunvegan, followed by Blue Lord, then So Royal, and at the rear of the field, faster slow. All fenced that well. Good run before they reach the 4th. And it's Gentleman de May, Danny Mullins, Mark Walsh's replacement. Alongside is Dunvegan, Brian Cooper, followed by Blue Lord Paul Townend, So Royal, Darren Jacob on board the Visitor. Then the back marker is the JJ Slevin ridden faster slow. Swinging a left to fence number 4. Very few changes. Dunvegan, Gentleman de May, now separated by a length and a half. A mistake by So Royal in 4th place. On to the next. Dunvegan, followed by Gentleman de May and Blue Lord, a clear running 3rd. 4th place is So Royal, the winner of 17 races. A remarkable horse, and faster slow continues to see them all at the back of the field. Over together, Gentleman de May and Dunvegan being followed by Blue Lord. As they go towards the first ditch, they've passed the halfway stage and the Grade 1 Ladbrokes Dublin Chase. Gentleman de May and Dunvegan continuing to mix it up front, followed by Blue Lord, who took us by surprise here at Christmas when very, very good in the Paddy Rewards Club Chase. So Royal, one from last and detached as faster slow, the 5th from the finish. Gentleman de May and Dunvegan, followed by Blue Lord, So Royal, faster slow. Just over 5 furlongs to go. 4 fences left to jump, and it's Gentleman de May edging ahead of Dunvegan. In 3rd is Blue Lord, where he's been from the outset, and then So Royal adrift and ridden along as faster slow. 3 fences left to jump, and it's Gentleman de May pressing ahead of Dunvegan. Closer in 3rd is Blue Lord, and So Royal in touch. 6 lengths back to faster slow, the final ditch, 3 from the finish. Gentleman de May by 2 lengths to Dunvegan, ridden along in 2nd. Poised in 3rd is Blue Lord, and then So Royal. Turning to the 2nd last fence, and it's Gentleman.
Here we go. Let's take you up now. 2 left to jump. Blue Lord in 3rd. Dunvegan in 2nd. Gentleman de May moving on quite nicely. The other Willie Mullins horse. Blue Lord's going to have something to do here. You must have heard me slating it. I knew it was going to be the commentator's curse. You end up tipping an odds-on shot. It's going to end up biting you in the backside. Blue Lord needs to pick up here, but he's not going to. It's going to be the JP winner. And that is how racing works. Gentleman de May wins by about 6 lengths. Blue Lord 2nd, Sue Royal, Dunvegan. And there we have it. I slated the horse, and it goes and beats the odds-on favourite. Again, I told you it wasn't a betting race, but geez Louise. It's, whether or not that's a bit of a Willie Mullins plot job, we will leave that for others to decide, or speculate, shall we say. But yeah, potentially, if people are odds-on shot backers, or at least horses that are very short like that, and they're going to put that Blue Lord in, various accumulators or multiples, then there's a fair few betting slips being scrumpled up now, and hopefully a few potential. Say hopefully not. Sorry, a few Kurt Zoomers knocking about, kicking their cats. But no, that's the way racing goes. You end up tipping the first 3 winners, and then the shortest price, the odds-on shot, the 4-1 on shot in a 5-runner race is the one that always gets beaten. Again, sod's law. Hopefully you didn't put the house on that one. I honestly didn't see or didn't think that, Gentleman de May had it in him to win a race like that. But, does he become a serious Cheltenham contender? I'm not so sure. Does Blue Lord bounce back? Let me know in the comments below. But onwards and upwards, as my grandmother used to say. Obviously, Gentleman to Me just wins that at 15-2. A little bit of money came for the horse. I think it came from about 10-1 into 15-2. And obviously, we saw a little bit of a drift on the favourite. But it is now 21 minutes past 2. We've got 4 minutes to the next at Musselburgh. And would you believe another small runner race? Oh, fantastic. Karachi Castle's now been withdrawn, now a non-runner. And it looks as I'm going to say this, and it's going to bite me on the backside again, isn't it? It looks to be a 2-horse race, in all honesty. You've got the odds-on favourite, Toothless, and you've got General Officer, the course and distance winner for Donald McCain. General Officer is actually a really consistent horse. I don't think he's ever finished outside of the top 2. But I think Toothless, since switching yards to Paul Nicholls, is so well. We can see form-wise has certainly improved. Look, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to sip another bloody favourite, and it's going to come and bite me on the arse. But I'm going to go Toothless 5-6. I was hoping that Karachi Castle would still be in there, and we'd get a relatively decent price. I think it was around 11-8 before. I can understand why it's odds on now. You take out one of the main dangers to the horse. I think Karachi Castle probably would have been about second favourite. But look, it's boring. It's probably predictable. But look, when all we've got to go off, and all ITV are offering are 5-6 runner races with odds on shots, then all we've got to go off is 5 or 6 runner races with odds on shots. So be it. So, Toothless is the one for me in the 225. We've got a handful of minutes until that race. So, that's why I want to be back in, obviously on the nose, but be back shortly. So stay tuned, and we'll have the 225 from Musselburgh. back. Hopefully you didn't miss me too much. It is the 225 at Musselburgh. I have gone with Toothless. I know it's the boring shout, but you know what? I was hoping for a bit of a better price, but with that non-runner, it's now an odds-on shot. Well, actually, no, it's now even money. Sorry, I do stand corrected. It went from 5 to 6, drifted out a little bit. Bit of money's come for the course and distance win at the top weight there. The Donald McCain horse. But it should be post time. It should be off time. So let's see whether or not Musselburgh have got their act together. Unlike Leopardstown, I'm just saying. Not calling names. They're there at the start, ready to rock. Only the 4 runners. I want to go with Toothless again. I'm not going to be able to show you all the race. We'll have the audio commentary, and then I'll show you the final couple of fences. Hopefully, we'll see Toothless put us back on track, winning ways. We've had the first 3 winners. Affadil, we've had Mighty Potter, and we also had Pay the Piper. And then, Sod's Law, Blue Lord, the big, well-fancied, well-tipped horse for Cheltenham after what was meant to be a procession at Leopardstown, gets beaten by Stablemate instead. Again, whether or not that was always in the offing from the hour. They are underway. They are off in the 225 at Musselburgh. So let's take in the commentary. And hopefully, Toothless can do us a turn and another Paul Nicholls winner.
From the well-fancied Toothless, the blue and yellow, under Harry Cobden, leaping over that opening flight in second. A few lengths away to Dan Siller on his hurdling debut today. Pink silks there for Paddy Brennan. And the black and beige Leanne under Nathan Moscrop as they race towards flight number 2. General Officer fiddles over that one. Ahead by a length or so, perhaps. The Toothless in second. He's almost on terms with General Officer as they run between these 2 flights of hurdles. And Toothless just about led them on touching down over flight number 3. Not much in it again there as they go up bias. So blue and yellow, Toothless, who made that sparkling win at Fakenham last time by 35 lengths clear at the finish, wasn't he, that day? Shows the way from General Officer. Is toward the running route. He in turn then a length and a half in advance of Dan Siller on that first run for Fergal O'Brien this afternoon. Leanne just last of the quartet as they race into the back straight. Leanne, who won a Cork maiden hurdle back last summer. Second run for Rebecca Menzies this afternoon. It's Toothless and Harry Cobden who lead towards their next flight of hurdles. Number 4, and he pops over ahead from General Officer in second. Only a length and a half away to Leanne. And then came Dan Siller out towards the middle obstacle over on the back straight. Toothless to the outside of General Officer. They step over that one together. Leanne lands in third and Dan Siller in the final placing. Racing towards jump number 6. 4 out. General Officer, Toothless, pretty much together in the air. Going out over that flight. 2 lengths away to Leanne. And then Dan Siller in the pink at the back under Paddy Brennan. So about to make their turn then out of the far run now. Being led by General Officer in the Jimmy 5 Silks. Leads only by about a half a length here. Toothless just been nudged along by Harry Cobden. 2 lengths away to Leanne. And then Dan Siller being held together last off the 4. Getting a little bit more anxious now. Toothless shaking along there is Harry Cobden on Toothless as General Officer looks to kick away from the front. General Officer from Toothless. He's now hard under pressure.
Oh, he's not looking good, folks. Let's see.
Black and beige. And Dan Siller's also looking to make his run there. He was a little bit novice-y over 3 out, but he's still...
There we go with a few left to go. It's not looking good for Toothless.
Travelling best of all in the pink on hurdling debut. Now looks to get on terms with General Officer.
Yeah, I can't see that going anywhere from there, but is this Fergal O'Brien horse going to win on debut? I think it could do. It's warning all over the show, but we've got a serious chance. He has, and he's easing away. He's showing it's very green, but I think that might be a horse to... Well, another shock. Another odds-on favourite beaten. Kel Surprise, Dan Siller, Fergal O'Brien, Paddy Brennan. teaming up to win on debut. Relatively nicely bred as well. Teofilo, Teofilo was the sire. Empress of Rome, the mare out of Holy Roman Emperor. And yeah, French import did it nicely. Certainly be happy to put that in someone's tracker. And yeah, it looks like my selections have run a bit bare here with the first 3 winning, and now end up with 2 odds on shots, both of which get beaten in small runner races. Thankfully, the next race at Leopardstown is a decent sized handicap to get stuck into, get our gnashers into. And I'll be back with that, the next race at Leopardstown, after a quick break. So stay tuned. Don't miss me too much. And hopefully we can get back to winning ways. I'm back, everyone. It is now time for the 240 at Leopardstown. It's a decent looking sized handicap. Finally, something with double figure runners. It was a tough one to call, I've got to be honest, but it's something juicy that we can get our teeth stuck into, that hopefully we can do well in, and hopefully we'll come up with one at a decent price. Now, before I give you my selection here in the 240, I'm going to give you 3 horses that I think are perhaps, should we say, eye catchers maybe, or perhaps sort of ones to watch, as you can see on screen. Foxy Jacks, Birchdale, and near the bottom of the weights, Glamorgan Duke. Now, Birchdale and Glamorgan Duke have both, I think, won this race previously. Now, we've just seen a Willie Mullins horse that's owned by JP McManus go in at a decent price. And Birchdale, currently 22 to 1, best odds we can see there. Also, Foxy Jacks, they're number 5 on the race card at 18. And then at a bigger price, Glamorgan Duke at 66 to 1. I think Glamorgan Duke, perhaps at the age of 10, might have seen his best days past him. But I think Birchdale and Foxy Jacks, who finished second in this race behind Birchdale previously, all 3, if you're looking for ones at big prices, those are 3 that you know are going to go well in the course. They're going to go well here. They're going to enjoy the trip, the distance. The ground should suit all 3 of them. So if you're looking for ones at big prices, especially if you've got a bookie that's generous enough to pay 7, maybe even 8 places. Don't know if there are 8 places on offer, but, you know, there's going to be some bookie offering a decent offer. I'd be quite content to back one of them. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. Those are the ones. But that being said, we'll move up to near the head of the weights. And the one that I'm going to go with here in the 240, Gordon Elliott's already sort of done a good turn by me, shall we say. And I'm hoping Vanilla can do the same. It's an each way selection. Obviously, you have to go each way in a race like this with so many runners. Currently, best price, I think 9 to 1, was 10s a little bit earlier. I just think the horse is a horse that promised a lot and is yet to deliver. This horse was being talked about in quite high regard previously, and it's never lived up to that expectation. That being said, now in a decent handicap, it's attracted market support as well. I think it was as big as 16 to 1 yesterday. Certainly had a lot of market support there. And with that in mind, I think Vanilla could be the one. Decent jockey on board as well. Just have a look at the race card itself. Just bring that up for myself so I can see. You know, I've got Keith Donoghue on board. It's only an 8-year-old. He's not necessarily a veteran. Look, it's going to be a really tough race, something like this. With so many runners, I mean, it gets to a point where it becomes a bit of a dartboard. Throw a dart at the race card, see where it lands, and you'll probably have a half-decent chance. But I'm going to go Vanilla. Obviously, I've got a soft spot for Greys. You can't, if you're a racing fan, you can't not have a soft spot for Greys, especially if they're chasers. Grey Abbey is probably one of my favourite horses. But that's not the reason. That aside, Vanilla, I just think it was a consistent horse that never really knew how to win, or it hasn't done of late. But I just think if all the stars align and everything is in his favour, yes, he's number 2 on the race card, so he's got a decent weight, but he's not it's not so much of a burden that it's going to be ridiculous for him, because I think, you know, previously he's been a really good horse. So if he decides to put his best foot forward, decides that today is going to be a day that he actually wants to show something like his best, then he has the class and the ability to win a race like this. Whether he does, that is the $1 million question. I will hope that he does. I will keep the faith with Vanilla and hope that number 2 on the race card, that's now 17 to 2, now 8 to 1. Sorry, yeah. See, I even called it a Gordon Elliott horse before, didn't I? It's Gavin Cromwell. I knew what I meant to say. I got my cheese mixed up. But we'll go with Vanilla. We'll go with Vanilla to pick up a decent pot, have his day in the sun, and hopefully it's this one. Again, backing it each way. You have to back it in each way in a race like this. Saying that though, my grandfather did used to say, the bigger the field, the bigger the cert. Whether or not there's any truth to that, I'm not too sure. But we'll see where they are, whether or not they've actually kicked off. We have gone past post time. So, but I imagine with 23 runners, they're not going to be there. Hey, they're actually at the line, pretty much on time. So again, I'm going to go vanilla. That's my selection. But the other three that I mentioned, Foxy Jacks, Birchdale, and also Glamorgan Duke. Glamorgan Duke now 70-1. That's a massive price. About a horse that's won this race before. Birchdale 22s. I think that's a decent, generous price. And Foxy Jacks attracted a bit of support, 18s into 16s. Obviously, other horses you've got to mention. You've got to Mascada has a chance. Let's have a look who else we've got. Indigo Breeze is hoping to finally win after finishing third and then second his last two starts. But yeah, look, Glamorgan Duke has a chance. Birchdale does. Foxy Jacks does. But the one I'm going to go with each way is going to be Vanilla. It's now 8-1. It's not far off favourite as well. It's certainly attracted a lot of support. Hopefully that money is telling. But the starter's just calling them in. I think we need to just make Ruby Walsh shut up for a second. All being called in. I will put the commentary back on once they get underway. You can see them there just being led in. The starter is on the rostrum. You should be called in now. And I want to guess that they are. Maybe. Let them go. They're all in the line. Lift the flag, unless there's something that I'm missing here. No, they're taking another. Ah, there we go. There's always one in there. There's always one. Like when you go out for a pint with your mates, there's always one straggler that you have to sort of drag along with you, isn't there? Obviously, the silks that are going to be worn by State Man later in the big race. Finally joined them. What horse is that? Let's just have a little nosy. What horse was that? Reality Man's there we go. Danny Mullins, Willie Mullins just won the previous race. Whether or not they can do it again here, we don't know. Start calling them in. Should be letting them go. And they're off.
The shortest run to the first of 14 fences, prominent as West Cork Wildway. Far Sur de Large the Grey, a mistake by Indigo Breeze, did well. On the inside is the English runner Topville Ben, also featuring prominently is Glamorgan Duke as they face up to the first of the ditches. And as they come to jump this one, Foxy Jacks is improved with Falco Blitz and Topville Ben, Glamorgan Duke, Far Sur de Large on the inside of West Cork Wildway. Another grey is Vanier. And then Indigo Breeze. Falco Blitz goes on ahead of the field, taking fence number 3 where Charlie Stout made quite a serious error. It's Falco Blitz turning in for the 4th, building up an advantage over Foxy Jacks, runner-up last year, and then Topville Ben. On the inside, Far Sur de Large with West Cork Wildway, Mars Harper, Vanier. Right towards the near side, the top weight Ciel de Neige, the quartered cap. And then Take All and Mascada and the Gopher. Fence number 4. And the final fence the next time they meet it. All safely over at the back of the field is Real Steel. And plenty of these behind him when chinning the Paddy Power. as it's Falco Blitz, leading Topville Ben, Foxy Jacks on the rail, far Sur de Large, then Glamorgan, Duke, Ciel de Neige, West Cork, Wildway, Mars, Harper, Take All, Mascad, and Mid Division, then Indigo Breeze, Vanier, Ballyshannon, Rose. I like the way you're thinking, being followed by the Gopher and last year's winner, Birchdale, the White Cab. And these are being followed away by Now, Where, or When, and Rembrandt, Jack, and Melina Girl, and Charlie Stout, and Revlin, Pleasure, Egality Mon, and Real Steel is the back marker. At fence number 5, over in front is Falco Blitz, going towards the 6th, followed by Topville Ben, and then Foxy Jacks away to the inside, far Sur de Large, with the noseband West Cork Wildway, and then Ciel de Neige, as they jump this fence, taking them towards the halfway stage, and losing a couple there, Vanier, and I like the way you're thinking. 10 furlongs to go. Both riders appear to be up. It's Falco Blitz establishing. Good 3-length lead. Egality Mon, another sufferer at that fence, came down. This is Falco Blitz. Out in front of the aggravation and behind. 8 fences left to jump, followed by Topville Ben, far Sur de Large.
Topville Ben's in there, despite me slating it earlier.
And Mascada next with West Cork Wildway. 9 furlongs from home, they're going to the next down the back. This will be 7 fences out. And
When it gets to 3 or 4 from home, that's when we'll be able to see what's going on.
Inside is far Sur de Large, Brian Cooper with Mars Harper. Far Sur de Large made a mistake, and Rembrandt Jack is the latest one to go. Less than a mile to travel, going to the second last stitch as this field gets well and truly sorted out. It's Falco Blitz onto another in the bag, followed by Topville Ben. Mars Harper is improved. On the inside is West Cork Wildway. Brian Hayes has got to his feet okay. Now to the fence at their point of departure. This is 5 from the finish, and it's Falco Blitz putting in a good shift still from Topville Ben. As they go towards the point at which they started, Revlin Pleasure down at the bag. 4 fences left to jump. Falco Blitz.
Let's have a look what's going on.
From Topville Ben, Mars Harper. Ciel de Neige, Glamorgan Duke next with Ballyshannon Rose starting to come into it out of Take All and Mascad and the Gopher. Dropped on the inside, far Sur de Large. Half a mile left to go and 3 fences to jump. And the Bulmers Leopardstown handicap chase.
Vanilla is there in about 12th, but I don't think he'll be catching them. I think perhaps the weight it's got is too much.
A mistake by Indigo Breeze, Ciel de Neige hot on the heads of the leaders, then Glamorgan Duke and Ballyshannon Rose and West Cork Wildway. The Gopher.
Glamorgan Duke's in there. There you can see Vanilla there in the back of the screen.
Way off the pace is Real Steel, and then far Sur de Large, you made a mistake. Foxy Jacks has dropped right out of contention. Then Melina Girl rounding the home turn with 1 fence left to jump, and round the outside it's Falco Blitz with Ciel de Neige coming to challenge on the inside. Rounding well was Glamorgan Duke, and then Topville.
There's Glamorgan Duke.
The Gopher plugs on it. A Birchdale,
It's not going to be 70 to 1 shot, is it?
The final fence, and it's Glamorgan Duke set to the front from Topville Ben, the Gopher, Mars Harper as they leave the final fence behind them. Then
oh my goodness, I've not ended up.
Inside the final 200 yards, Glamorgan Duke.
No, it's going to get cran.
The ball went off the rail, the Gopher,
It's the Gopher.
and it's the Gopher driven out by Davy Russell has come right through this field to go on and score for Gordon Elliott, who's having a good day, as well as the rider. Glamorgan Duke, Topville Ben, followed in then by Birchdale, West Cork Wildway, and now
well, Glamorgan Duke came second and Birchdale came 4th at 70s and 22s. I mean, fair play to the Gopher. I know I gave Vanilla, but you know, look, I don't know whether or not I can take any credit for that. I mean, fair play to the Gopher there.
And Topville Ben has run a stormer as well for Phil Kirby and Tommy Dowse.
And again, fair play to, like they've just said there on commentary, fair play to Topville Ben. Did far better than I expected. Ended up practically leading most of the way, or at least being up with the pace. And yeah, I don't know how to think about that really. I mean, Birchdale finishes 4th at 22s, and Glamorgan Duke wasn't far off winning at 70 to 1. But can I take any credit for that? I don't know. Can I? Should I? I don't know. Had a couple of quid on, so I'm happy with that. I mean, I got a little bit giddy when I saw Glenmorgan and Duke taking into the lead. But, I mean, look, you're backing anything each way in a race like that. So, you know what? I'll take a smidge of credit because at least I mentioned them. It's not like I'm doing any after timing, is it? So we'll take it. We'll take that. What's up next, anyway? Let's have a look. What have we got up next? So we'll go from there. The Gophers just won over in Ireland. Done really well doing so. So let's have a look. What have we got for next? So the 240 at Leopardstown. Next race will be the 310 from Leopardstown. But in between that, we've got the 255 from Musselburgh. Now, can Gordon Elliott do it again? Just won a big handicap. This is the race that I think ITV really should have been putting on telly. It's a really decent looking handicap. It's a class 2. It's a Potemps Hurdle Series qualifier. I don't know whether or not they're allowed to in terms of whether or not they're given a set amount they can show from a course or TV rights or something like that. But look, the boss is Oscar 50-1 for Gordon Elliott. We've got what else? We've got Barnesdown Lad. We've got Cool. We've got Shearer, who was heralded as a potential bit of a superstar, but then ended up sort of losing his way after unseating. We've got Coulter there for Roger Fell, who's more well known for his exploits on the flat. Jay Sean, I'm presuming that's how you pronounce it. Again, similar to the rapper. But again, another Gordon Elliott Irish Raider here that's come over. We've got Gaelic Coast, a former course winner for Donald McCain. We've got Hurricane Harvey. We just saw Fergal O'Brien with those silks win the last race. That at 18-1. Perhaps looks a bit of a big price there. But Jack Hogan takes off £5. Current favourite, 100-30 or 10-3. Buffalo Soldier. Can't beat Bob Marley, can you? Can't beat it, but Warren Greatrix. Closing distance winner, we've got Coolbane Boy. Salvino for Sandy Thompson again. Sandy Thompson's horses you've got to respect here at Musselburgh. Aurora Thunder for Lucinda Russell, another course winner. And then bottom weight, number 13, Brandy McQueen, another course and distance winner for Harriet Graham and Gary Rutherford, with Ed Austin taking off £5. Actually, the current market leader. Competitive looking race. But before it gets going in a couple of minutes, I will give my selections. Who have I gone for in here? I think I know who I've gone for. I've gone for 2 Irish Raiders. I've gone for Bardenstown Lad. And I'm hoping Gordon Elliott can have another winner straight after the other with Jay Sean. No doubt I'll have picked the wrong one and the Boss's Oscar will win at 50s. But Bardenstown Lad, I love the yard when they send horses over here to Scotland. It's not something they do on a rare basis. They do it relatively frequently. Those silks have been carried to glory here at Musselburgh a handful of times as well. I think Bardenstown Lad's in a decent enough match. And Jay Sean, I think, is a really interesting horse. I think it's still a maiden, but it's very, very lightly raced, still somewhat novice, shall we say. So the fact that the Elliott team have decided to send it over here, I think that's really telling. I think that could be a bit of a, I know it's a real cliche when we're talking about racing, a bit of a dark horse, but I genuinely think Jay Sean could be the one to be on here. Again, 13 runners, you're not really going to get many in terms of places. If a bookmaker's offering the first 4, then they're probably being quite generous. But I think one of the 2 could end up finishing in the money. Irish Raiders coming over here, stealing our prizes. As far as I'm aware, they only did that when it happened in March for about 4 days. But they're trying to do it a month earlier. And hats off to them. If we're backing them, then I'll take them. So I'm going to go Bardenstown Lad, Jay Sean here in the next at Musselburgh. I'll be back after a very quick break. So stay tuned and don't miss out on a winner. And you are. You're back with me now. Now, unfortunately, I've just been informed that Musselburgh, the racing's been delayed. So don't worry, you've got plenty of time to get those bets on. If you do decide to follow me, we'll take them there, Bardenstown Lad and Jay Sean, as my two selections coming up in the 255. Well, let's have a look. What are the races we got to cover today? What are the races I want to do? I know there's obviously an extra race that ITV aren't covering, so haha, take that ITV. I'm actually going to take in a race from Hexham later as well. I think it's a 3:33. We've got the big race at 3:10, I think. Yeah, we do the big race at 3:10. Obviously, it's the clash. State Man, it's the younger guard against the old guard of Honeysuckle. I want to know your thoughts, so put them in the comments below, whether or not you think Honeysuckle can return to winning ways, whether or not you think that it's going to be a case of that you think it's going to be a case of Vauban and State Man, the young up and comers that'll be on the scene now. It's going to be taking over the sort of 2 mile hurdling division. Obviously, with Constitution Hill, not forgetting that horse, of course, current very short price favourite for the champion hurdle. I think punting wise, if you're just sort of shooting the breeze as a punting sort of notion, if you think that Honeysuckle will do a lot better today than she did previously, sorry, then I would probably urge you, if you think that potentially she may go to Cheltenham if she does well and wins here, if you think that's going to happen, I'd probably urge you to back the horse now before this race for Cheltenham. I'm not too sure what the price is at the moment. Let's see whether or not I can find that in a bit. Equally, I actually think if let's be honest, I imagine whoever wins this goes straight to Cheltenham, goes for the big race on the Tuesday, the first day of the festival. If you think that any of these can give Constitution Hill something to think about, I'd probably back them now because they're going to drop in price if they win. Luckily, I was at the festival last year on the Friday. It's my first ever Gold Cup I'd gone to. And I got to see both State Man and Vauban run that day. Both win pretty impressively. I'll be honest again. Punting wise, Vauban was probably the biggest win or bet I've had, or very close to one of the biggest wins or wins I've ever had on a course in my lifetime. I've never cheered a horse on so much. I'm probably still hoarse from cheering him on that day. The people I was with had never actually seen me at a race day. I'm quite relatively mild-mannered and not overly outspoken. I'm not brash. I'm doing this, but I'm in the comfort of my living room and chatting away. But no, Vauban came to 2 from home, and I think I was about was it near the last fence or the second to last fence. And when it came past me, I shouted from somewhere deep inside, and everyone who was with me looked around and was like, what on earth is this guy doing? That's not Rory, but seemed to work. I'm going to take 0.005% credit for that one monumental roar up that hill that made it move a little bit quicker. It was quite interesting after a State Man and Vauban clash last time that in the press, Willie Mullins was raving a lot about Vauban rather than the winner, perhaps a little bit unfairly. Obviously, I appreciate that was Vauban's return. And although it perhaps breaks my heart, I've got a soft spot for Vauban from that day at the festival last year. It is a fair amount of pocket talk, but I was convinced that horse would win and would reverse the form with the Elliott horse, and it duly did. But I think it is a bit unfair on State Man. Looking at the race, and we'll talk about the race now because of Musselburgh's delay. The way that I see it playing out is I don't think Vauban and State Man, the form of that race when they competed last time, is going to be returned. It's going to be reversed. I think Vauban will probably improve, but I also think State Man will as well. Honeysuckle-wise, I think she's going to appreciate a drop back to 2 mile. She's going to appreciate better ground. Now, I will take Vauban out of it, out of the three sort of main contenders. And it's very much a case of heart over head. The heart would absolutely love Honeysuckle to win. I think there won't be a dry eye in the house if she returned back to winning ways, let alone if she then ended up going on and winning at Cheltenham and really stamping her authority on the younger crop that are very convinced that Constitution Hill et al. Are going to dethrone the queen of national hunt racing. But I just don't see it happening. I think she made a bit of a jumping error in her last race when she was third, which was down the back straight about, I think it was either 4 or 5 from home. I think that was noticeable. I think the horse that she perhaps was a year ago or even 2 years ago would be a little bit tidier. I think she's still an absolute superstar horse. Of course, you can't take anything away from her. And she travelled nicely enough when she finished third previously. But I just think, like with any top athletes, it's all very much fine margins. And she's lost 2% of what she was, 5% of what she was. Not much. You put her in a lesser race, she absolutely dominates and wins by 12 lengths. But I think she is open to fresher legs. Sadly, I don't want that to be the case, and she could win now by 12 lengths and absolutely prove me wrong. But I think Honeysuckle's day in the sun is slowly coming to an end, and if that's the case, I think we've got to really enjoy this race because it might be the last time we ever see her. I hope it's not, but you've got to drink her in whilst we've got her still. Let's have a look whether or not there's a bit of an update here on this. I'm going to say the wrong time then. 2:55 from Musselburgh, whether or not. Oh, we're underway. We are underway. Been underway for a little while. So, if I bring that back, I want to stick the commentary on so you can hear. And hopefully we can do rather well. I've gone for Bardenstown Lad. I've gone for Jason, both each way, and hopefully we can end up with a win, or at least a place, maybe. So, yeah, let's join them. I will join you in terms of video commentary, couple from home, but we will see. Good luck on whatever you're backing.
As they skip over the first flight down the back straight this time. Once again, all is safely over. Racing on towards the fourth. It's Brandy McQueen. He leads. Front top weighted, the bosses Oscar and Corey McGiven. White and green with the red cap. Bardenstown Lad on his handicap debut today in the blue. For those cheap pieces, deep out on the track under Ben Harvey. And followed then closely by Hurricane Harvey into the inside of Buffalo Soldier and James Bowen. Next is Salvino, then Coltor. Over that next flight of hurdles, a small error at the back of the field from Gaelic Coast, held together by Brian Hughes as they've got over their opening 5 hurdles, taking 14 in total in this. It's Brandy McQueen. He's up in grade today. He leads the way from the bosses Oscar, a Buffalo Soldier to the inside of him, and Bardenstown Lad a little wider. Next in fifth is Coltor, then Hurricane Harvey. Followed into that far bend by Salvino, and then Shearer, Maroon Sleeves and Count were cool, scraping the paint on the inside. And then Jason, those red and white colours, sported by Jordan Gainford. Coolbane Boy still held up much further back through the field, along with the mare Aurora Thunder and Gaelic Coast under Brian Hughes. At the opening flight, up the home straight this time. Small error there from Shearer, didn't jump it overly well. Now they run their way towards flight number 7. It's Brandy McQueen, who is on the front end, leading from the bosses Oscar and Bardenstown Lad. Over this next hurdle, Coolbane Boy was the latest one to make a small mistake. He was in third to last position at the time. Now they race towards the 8th. This will be the final flight in another lap's time. Getting over all okay, and it's Brandy McQueen. It continues here to set the tempo, leading by a good couple of lengths to the bosses Oscar, Bardenstown Lad and a Buffalo Soldier, then Salvino between Coltor and Hurricane Harvey, then Shearer, Jason and Wakul. Coolbane Boy, Aurora Thunder, and the back marker, Gaelic Coast. So on to the far side for the final time. They've got 6 more flights of hurdles left to take in this Pertemps qualifier. And if Brandy McQueenie's made all the running so far, it continues to show out in front from Bardenstown Lad and the Bosses Oscar second and third. The Buffalo Soldier is in 4th place. Length and a half away to Coltor, then Salvino and Hurricane Harvey, getting over that first flight of hurdles over on the back straight once again. And it's still Brandy McQueen who shows with the lead under Ed Austin. From the Bosses Oscar and Bardenstown Lad, a Buffalo Soldier, Salvino, and then Coltor in the white and black. Hurricane Harvey deeper out.
When it comes to about 3 from out, 3 out, 3 from out, 3 out, I will show the video.
Closer to the outside in those purple and yellow silks. Then the grey were called towards the inside, getting over that one. Shearer is ridden along on the landing side. Aurora Thunder is still much further back through the field, along with Gaelic Coast as they work on towards the end of the back straight now. They're still yet to get to Brandy McQueen. Brandy McQueen leads them out of the far side run. From a Buffalo Soldier, the Bosses Oscar and Coltor. They're shaking along Bardenstown Lad. Then Salvino, Hurricane Harvey and Jason, who's trying to get on terms with the principals. Then Shearer, Wackall's trying to make up some ground on the fence. Then Coolbane Boy and Gaelic Coast. They begin to turn their heads towards home. And it's still out in front.
There we go. Let's see what's going on.
Oscar challenging a Buffalo Soldier for second. Behind those in 4th is Coltor. Then came the staying on Wackall. That's 3 from the finish. And Brandy McQueen once again took off.
The favourite's out in front. Will it stay there though?
The improving Coltor and the white and black. Gaelic Coast is staying on from a good way back. Then the Bosses Oscar, a Buffalo Soldier, and Wackall, then Jason. This is 2 from the end. Brandy McQueen once again in front and begins to extend.
We need Jason to start to come home.
And the Bosses Oscar racing down towards the 14th.
Please not the Bosses Oscar though. Have I picked the wrong Gordon Elliott horse? No, Jason's gone.
Brandy McQueen led by 2.5 lengths. Coltor is getting close with every stride. Then came the Bosses Oscar. Brandy McQueen needs a line now. Coltor is snapping away, but Brandy McQueen.
The favourite takes it. And I did. I picked the wrong Gordon Elliott horse. He finishes 3rd at 40s. But that is racing. Well done to favourite backers if you got that one. Fair play to the Roger Fell horse as well. But we don't have long. We've only got a couple of minutes until the big race of the day. The big race of the day, of course, it's the 3:10. The Irish Champion Hurdle. It's Grade 1 race. It's another small field. Just the 5 go to post now. Obviously, Tekarengo's gone. Pied Piper, the 66-1 outsider. As Zana here, 80-1. I think 80-1, perhaps a little bit harsh on Zana here. Also did rather well last year, but this year's been absolutely woeful. But it's all about State Man, Vauban, and Honeysuckle, to be fair. Honeysuckle backed into now 15-8. State Man drifted a little bit. It was odds on earlier, now 11-10. And Vauban drifted quite a lot now, out to 11-2. I'm going to just show you a quick couple of clips before the race. For what it's worth, I'm going to be back in the current favourite State Man. It is it's head over heart. I'd love to see Honeysuckle win, but I think it's going to be State Man's. But let's have a look at their last few runs. Here we are with 3 of the contenders here. There was our State Man finishing ahead of Vauban and way ahead of Pied Piper at Leopardstown back in December. And here is Honeysuckle finishing 3rd at Fairy House last month. There we saw Tehupo and Classical Dream finishing ahead of the Princess of Irish Jumps Racing. But to be honest, approaching the two from home or even the final flight, thought that she'd have a serious chance. But the money has come for the Princess. 6-4. Stateman's drifting out to 11-8. Is it sentimental money or is it serious? Does Honeysuckle return to winning ways and show that she is still the force of old? Time will tell. They're at the start. I'm going Stateman. I'd be more than happy with the Honeysuckle win. But let's have a look, see where we are now. Approaching, I think, the off. The big race of the day at Leopardstown. They're walking in. And they are indeed off.
Champion hurdle with Honeysuckle and Stateman meeting for the first time. They've 9 flights to jump over the 2 miles.
Again, I can't show you too much of the race, but we will take in the commentary. Good luck with whatever you follow as they're now approaching the first. At a rather slow pace.
Vauban made a mistake, but got away with it. And it's his stable companion leading the field in these early stages, Stateman. Couple of lengths in front with a wave of 3 contesting the second spot. Zanny here, Piper and Honeysuckle, and a break of less than 2 lengths to Vauban in rear of the quintet as they head away to flights 2 and 3. And it's Stateman, the leader, the young pretender, bidding to add to previous Grade 1 triumphs this season, followed by Honeysuckle, defending champion of the past 3 years. On her final Leopardstown appearance, lands in a disputing second place with Zanny here, followed by Piper and Vauban. Just over 4 lengths covering the 5, going towards flight number 3. And it's Stateman, followed by Honeysuckle. They land with less than a length between them. On the inside is Piper. Zanny here has dropped back to the tail end of the field and is joined by Vauban as they turn towards the far side of the track. 6 flights left to jump. Stateman, Paul Townend, tracked by Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore. Racing together, the stable companions, Piper, Davy Russell on the inside of Zanny here and Dennis O'Regan, 5th of the 5. Vauban and Danny Mullins made a fine start in the senior ranks here in the Madison as they go down the back straight soon at the halfway stage. Stateman is the leader from Honeysuckle. Things a little different this campaign with a number other than 1 before her name when third and the Hatton's Grace on return is it within a length and a half of Stateman, jumping the first of the flights down the far side as they reach the halfway stage. And then Piper, Zanny here and Vauban. The next flight just over 7 furlongs from home, Stateman, Honeysuckle, followed by Piper, Zanny here and Vauban, right across from the stands with 7 furlongs to go, heading to the second last flight in the back straight, Stateman. In second place is Honeysuckle, followed by Piper, who flicks through it on the inside of Zanny here, and Vauban continues last with their tightly group, heading towards the final 5.5 furlongs. They've 3 flights left to jump.
All going pretty well. I'm going to join them in terms of watching the race. 2 fences from home.
the inside is Piper and Davy Russell, and although Vauban is the back marker under Danny Mullins, very much in with the play as they turn off the back straight towards the second last. Half a mile left to go, and the Chanel Farmer.
Here we go. All five pretty closely packed.
Continues to lead the field from Honeysuckle, a slender second from Zanny here, working back up to the first pairing. The big pairing at that, a length and a half then at Piper and Vauban as they face the second last.
Even Piper and Zanna here travelling nicely enough.
At the wings there, State Man. Honeysuckle now being wound up in second, then Piper on the inside of Vauban, who's improving his position. Then Zanny here into the straight. They come to the final flight.
One more to jump. State Man's way ahead. About a length and a half.
Honeysuckle, Vauban, Piper and Zanny has been dropped, but it's State Man by 3 legs. Coming to the final flight in the Chanel Farmer is champion hurdle. It's State Man clear over the last from Honeysuckle. On the run in, it is State Man and Paul Town and lengthening clear. It's a season of Grade 1.
There we go. He is a serious champion hurdle contender now. Honeysuckle held on for second as well, whilst the other horses were coming. Fair play to the Queen for holding on, whether or not that's the last time we see Honeysuckle, who knows, but State Man there returns at a decent price considering.
We joined them really in the final one down the back, where there was a stumble from Honeysuckle after that flight. Not ideal.
No, the gasp here in Leopardstown, Gary, as everyone held their breath. And look, to be fair to Honeysuckle, I said to you as they headed to the second last hurdle, Gary, I don't think she's going to be
just watching the closing stages here again.
So well to be second,
yeah, I mean, in fairness, I think it was this jump here. Ruby Walsh just said he didn't think she'd finish in the first 3 after this, and I think it's this jump here. She did, I mean, nice enough, but turning around the final bend, she's being nudged when others aren't. You look at Vauban and Piper, how they're travelling now, and you think that they're going to just whip past her, but she pulled out more and more.
But they didn't. She kept running all the way down the straight. Just the younger legs in front of her were too good for her. And it was a good performance for State Man. And he jumped really, really well.
I mean, you take State Man out of this race and you look at it behind, and Honeysuckle's beating the rest nicely enough, you know. That's the big question, isn't it? State Man, how much of a threat is he to Constitution Hill? That's the big question. State Man wins. My selection wins. You know, I am a sentimental old soul, but I took sentimentality out of it, and hey presto, we end up with a win. 4 wins from, I think, 6, maybe 7 races now. Hopefully you've backed the ones that I've been given that have won. Yeah, State Man, impressive, very impressive, wasn't he? Can't really knock or crib anything that he's done there. He won at Cheltenham very easily, very comfortably last year. He'll obviously enjoy the course again. Do you think it's going to be a bit of a head-to-head, Constitution Hill, State Man, or do you think there's something else that could win? Think there's something else that would be in the mix come March? What I'll do is I'll put a little poll on our Twitter. Head on over to @PixPaddock. I'm going to take a break and do that. And join me next for an extra race from Hexham. Well, that's always good when you mute yourself and you've been talking for ages. So I'm going to go 2-2-3. Here in the 333 at Hereford. Top 4 finish. The likelihood is I backed this horse last night to finish in the top 4. Prior to these non-runners, I'll probably end up with a Rule 4. But if you don't do already, the place-only market is something that's really worth doing, really worth looking into, simply because the bookmaker that I bet with, and I can't name them, but let's just say it rhymes with Shabby Tower, then what they tend to do is they will offer extended amounts of places. So I've seen in some instances they're offering first 4 home for each way bets, but for single place only bets, they're offering the first 7. Now, I think potentially what is sometimes worthwhile is either back them as a win bet, and then rather than doing it as an each way, which a lot of punters, and I myself will do each way bets, but although I'm not going to get a fortune, if I back them to win and then back them singularly as a place single bet, I've still got my win and place bets, but I've got better place terms. Not necessarily as good at odds, but you've got to weigh up that difference. Sometimes as well, what I'll do is, for argument's sake, you'll see a 20-1 shot, and for the sake of math, let's say £1 each way, you've staked £2, you've got your win bet, you've got your place bet for the first 4, and then if you're being offered, say, 9-4, 5-2 for that same horse to finish in the first 7, and sometimes I find it worthwhile throwing that bet on as well and covering your each way bet, because Sod's Law will always mean that if you back a horse to finish each way in the first 4, it'll come 5th, 6th, 7th, get your hopes up, and then you'll have kicking yourself. If you end up going for a single place bet, you don't get perhaps a quarter of the odds or a fifth of the odds. You might get something like a 6th of the odds, but you get an extra 2 or 3 places. I'll leave that with you. It's certainly something I would encourage people to sort of perhaps try or at least have a look at. I'm not going to necessarily encourage you to place more bets than you would normally. See, I know you're probably sick of hearing it as punters, but gamble responsibility. Got to obviously make sure that you do. But this race alone, the 333, it's only 2 races I'm covering left. This and then the 340 at Leopardstown. But in this one, I've gone for 2-2-3 to finish in the top 4. It's currently 11-1. If you want to back it as such, it is top weight. But the reason I've gone for it is the horse is running much better races than this. And although it's not won, and although on a fair few occasions it's not placed in those races, it's always run very credibly and respectably. Now at this grade, it's off a decent enough mark. I just think it could potentially spring a bit of a surprise for punters, at a price that is actually quite generous considering there's those 2 non-runners. I think the downside now, those 2 non-runners means that there's 7 that go to post. I mean, it's a 10-year-old, but there's 4 10-year-olds in the race, and there's an 11-year-old. It's not necessarily a bunch of spring chickens that it's got to compete against. The level of opposition isn't mind-blowing, is it? Let's be honest. But I want to go 2-2-3 to finish in the top 4. I bet it with a certain Irish bookmaker, like I've said. You'll know the big-time Irish bookmaker that a certain English ex-footballer and his wife are on the adverts all over. A very lanky English ex-footballer. And you'll see them plastered all over adverts between ITV Racing with talking horses in their stables. You'll know the one. But yeah, if they're still off, I'll tell you what I'll do. I won't obviously bring up my own betting account. That'll be a bit of a daft idea. But what I will do is, if I just have a quick look now at their live odds, I'm really praying that this doesn't appear on screen, but I don't think it will do. Right, if it does, it does. Yeah, the 333, so the next race there. I would have taken in the 325 from Musselburgh, but there was nothing that I really liked in it, in all honesty. Here we go, top finish. They are still offering top 4 finish. 223 to finish in the top 4. They're currently paying 8 to 11. When I backed it last night, it was around 5 to 4, maybe 6 to 5, something like that. Obviously, those two non-runners have scuppered that price a little bit, considering the fact there's now only 7 runners. I will probably get a small rule 4 on that bet. Let's have a look whether or not I will or I won't. Let's have a look. It'll probably tell me if it has done. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, there's a 35p deduction, rule 4, which is it's actually quite harsh. It was 5 to 4. I can have a look there on the bet. It was 5 to 4, which is somewhat harsh and a bit unfair, but it is what it is. I think you'd probably get more now backing it at 8 to 15 than you would me backing it at 5 to 4 with a 30p rule 4, 35p rule 4. Yikes. Not being kind at all, are they? But that was my selection in the 333. Also, I've just put a little tweet out on the Picks from the Paddock Twitter account at Picks Paddock, asking basically, after Stateman's very impressive performance, who wins the Cheltenham Champion Hurdle? Is it Constitution Hill? Is it Stateman? Or are you thinking a little bit out of the box and have you got your eye on something else that will win the big race on the opening day? Let's take a quick break because I'm choking at the moment. I'm trying to hold it together without dying. Take a quick break. I can have a quick sip of water and I'll be back. The 333, my selection, 223 at Hereford. And you're back. If you didn't see that advert then, it is, well, I'd rather be telling you this if you had seen the advert. But that was an advert for our brand new app. It's on iPhone, it's on Android. It's got race cards, results, live commentary. It shows betting sort of steamers, what horses are being absolutely smashed. It shows longest travellers. It shows our notebook horses. We actually had a notebook horse win the other day, Bowerman, at Dundalk on Friday. I think it won at 10 to 1. Basically, our notebook horses are horses that have raced over the previous week that we think you should be putting in your trackers. And it seems to be working quite well. We've got daily race previews. You can see video content. You can see, what else have we got on there? You can see our competitions that you can enter. God, there's an absolute load. You'll see our podcasts when they're back up and running very soon. There's loads. There's loads you can get stuck into. There's a community there with like message boards and WhatsApp group where you can talk all things racing there. There's an absolute ton of things that you can get stuck into. So, like I said, it's absolutely free. It's from myself and the rest of the PFTP team. There are, how many of there are? About 7 or 8 of us. 5 of which all give selections in, well, actually, no, all of us now give selections daily in the Racing Post. So clearly, the Racing Post think that we talk a little bit of sense, and occasionally we do. But yeah, 333, Hereford coming up. I've gone for 223. They probably should be underway by now, actually. But obviously, as I can't show all the race, then I've got to only show bits. No, they're still parading. They're still, sorry, not parading. They're still down at the finish. Down at the finish. If they'd been down at the finish, then the race would have been well and truly done. They're down at the start. All there, getting ready to go. I don't know what you're backing in this. Good luck with whatever you are doing. Obviously, I won't be able to show you the entire race. I will show you video from the last last couple of flights anyway. Maybe the last 3 if I'm being generous. You will have the audio commentary and you'll basically see me watching the race, which is really fun, right? But starters on the rostrum, he's lifted the flag, they're turning around the bend, and I think they are about to, if I can just extend how long I talk, they're about to go.
And they're off. And this is the Black Mountain Botanicals handicap chase. They'll jump 11th, Rooster Cogburn and Billingsley, the first couple to show. Starvosky in the black jackets as they get over the first, and Rooster Cogburn cleared it in front and all managed to take that well, the 7 of them. To the outside is 223 of Megalodon, the light and dark blue diamonds. Dark green and white is Court Royale, and at the back of the field is Broad Oak, as it is. Rooster Cogburn, it just builds up a little bit of a head of steam running down towards number 2. It gave it plenty of daylight, led Billingsley in cheek pieces today. Billingsley, the 11-year-old, in second. Trainer Alistair Ralph looking for a second winner of the day. Starvosky is running in third. Pace looks reasonable. And then in fourth is 223, just ahead of Megalodon, and the final 2, Court Royale and Broad Oak, as Rooster Cogburn has reached the fence in the home straight. And all 7 of them clear it okay. Perhaps a little bit novice at the back was Broad Oak, who would be 10 or 12 lengths behind the leader, and that is Rooster Cogburn, who's 2 lengths ahead of Billingsley. There's a similar distance back to Starvosky, the mare, under David Bass in third. So they jumped 3 of their 11 fences here. 223 is in fourth place, ahead of Megalodon and Sean Houlihan, who's also looking for a second success on the card. And the final 2 are 6-time winner Court Royale and Broad Oak, as they continue on, running on the leisure centre side of the course. The next fence they take will be a ditch, number 4, and Rooster Cogburn and Ben Jones leading the way. 2 in second position, Billingsley and Jay Tidball. Starvosky the insides, getting over this. Megalodon jumped that fairly well, just on the outside of Starvosky. 223 on the outer. The final 2 still Court Royale and Broad Oak. Here's a plain fence into the wings of it now. Rooster Cogburn jumped that ahead of Billingsley. Just getting squeezed along at the back of the field is Court Royale. Broad Oak in no hurry just yet, as they're about to run as they just come past the cathedral and head onto the back straight now. And it is Rooster Cogburn that leads Billingsley in second. Starvosky, she is in third place, the best turned out winner. 223 on the outside, the top weight in here as they get over that. Megalodon got one behind the saddle after landing there and is still in front of Court Royale and Broad Oak as Rooster Cogburn gets to the middle one in the back straight, measures it well to Billingsley, who was equally fluent, just getting pushed along in second now. Then 223, Starvosky. Here is the final ditch. It's number 8. It is the 4th last. Rooster Cogburn is going to take off in front of Billingsley. And then Starvosky, she jumped that well, just in third ahead of 223. Then Megalodon, Broad Oak, trying to get competitive, is in 6th place, about 5 lengths off the lead, and a similar distance clear of the struggling Court Royale. So 3 to jump, Rooster Cogburn.
3 left to go.
Past where they started, Billingsley driven.
Horses there or thereabouts in about 3rd, 4th place.
They make the run towards 3 out, and it's still Rooster Cogburn that has an advantage.
I will show you the race after they jump this next. Hopefully the horse jumps well.
Up on the inside, trying to stay in contention. 223 is to the outer. Broad Oak is under pressure, and then finally Court Royale.
There we go. We can see it on the right-hand side with the blue sleeves. Just needed to finish in the first 4. That's all we're after. I think this leader's probably going to absolutely scoop the pot.
Starvosky is weak, and so is Megalodon. 223 is in third, but Rooster Cogburn is still galloping on powerfully and is striding clears about 6 or 7.
Rooster Cogburn's probably going to absolutely storm home, and it looks to be. The rest are paddling.
And Ben Jones looking like he's only got to jump it. He's over it safely. He's 7 or 8 lengths in front of Billingsley. 223.
Hopefully 223 is in third at the moment. Whether or not anything ends up passing it, we shall see.
Ben Jones and Rooster Cogburn for Peter Bowen. Stylish winners. Second.
Oh, 4th.
Got up on the outside of 223.
But we'll take the 4th. We'll take the 4th. I know that it's paid 8 to 15 without the Rule 4 deduction that I annoyingly ended up with. But such is racing, such is life. We'll take it. It's a profitable bet. To be honest with you, I was just filling a bit of time before this big race at Leopardstown, which is due off any moment now. The 340. Let's have a look. Have I missed it? Not yet. I want to go Facile Vega. I know it's the obvious choice, but obvious for a reason. Hopefully, I don't get another odds-on favourite beaten. Facile Vega to finish ahead of either High Definition or Irish Point would be my choice here, but we'll go Facile Vega just for the win. Whether or not we'll remain unbeaten, we shall see. But let's have a look. We'll go Facile Vega. That's my selection. Let's see whether or not they are underway. They are already off. And here we go. I will play the commentary for you and then join it a few from home. Facile Vega with either High Definition or Irish Point for Gordon Elliott to finish his runners up.
Followed by Dark Raven and Irish Point. Away they go from the second flight. Pressure's a little between. Facile Vega with an unblemished record, 6 races yielding 6 wins. It's closely attended by High Definition as they go to the third flight. Then they let Tong and In the Pocket, Dark Raven and Irish Point, a little more spaced out as they turn towards the back straight. Facile Vega and Paul Townend alongside his High Definition and JJ Slevin. All the while breaking clear of Ilete Tong In the Pocket and the Dark Raven and Irish Point. Heading down the far side of the first of 4. Another 5 left to jump. Going hard at it up front, Facile Vega and High Definition as In the Pocket moves after them in third. Ilete Tong's lost a position to 4th, and then Dark Raven and Irish Point as they go to the first of the flights down the far side. Facile Vega and High Definition into this one. Being followed, and obviously High Definition has finally lost JJ Slevin after an error, leaving Facile Vega with the lead of 5 lengths. Facile Vega at that time made a mistake. Racing towards the 7 furlong point. They've passed halfway. Facile Vega, now left alone in front after High Definition's exit, is over the next from In the Pocket, Ilete Tong, Dark Raven and Irish Point. Inside the final 3/4 of a mile as they approach the last flight in the back straight. This is 2 from home, and it's Facile Vega over and clear from In the Pocket. Rejoined for second by Ilete Tong, who's followed by Dark Raven, and these are away from Irish Point. Turning off the back straight with a significant run before they reach the final flight in the Tattersalls Ireland Grade 1 Novice Hurdle, and it's Facile Vega reeled in by stable companion Ilete Tong, who's now within a length and a half. In the Pocket and Dark Raven both in touch, cleared of Irish Point. Just over 3 furlongs to go. 1 flight left to jump, and it's Facile.
There we go, with just 1 left to jump.
Stable companion Ilete Tong as they come around the omitted second last flight. Dark Raven makes a move on the outside of In the Pocket and well clear of a struggling Irish Point.
Facile Vega there on the right hand side. Ilete Tong there with the grey. And Dark Raven travelling nicely. Oh, Facile Vega's something's wrong. She's being pulled up. Another odds-on shot that's probably beaten or destroyed everyone's bets today. And Kelsa Priest is another Willie Mullins that beats the odds-on Willie Mullins shot. Fair play to Ilete Tong, who absolutely destroyed them there. A beautiful grey horse, dapple horse even.
Well. We've had a few turn-ups here today, and another one here. Facile Vega bombing out completely.
Something doesn't look too right with Facile Vega there, but fair play to the winner, and unfortunately for High Definition falling as well. Jockey tried to hold on as best he could.
Yeah, he did. His head disappears, but unfortunately He's too much of his body.
Well, Facile Vega defeated. I mean, that's racing, as they say. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Hopefully, I didn't do too bad today. I think 5 winning selections and a couple that, whether or not I take the credit for, I don't know. Ones to watch that placed at 50s and 22s, respectively. It's been an absolute pleasure. I did say that I would read out before I let you go the current up-to-date feed. Constitution, people have Constitution Hill still beating Stateman despite that really good victory. A couple of people have put other names down there, but if you want to get involved, then obviously head on over to our Twitter at Pix Paddock, where you can see our poll that'll be running for the next few days. Hopefully, I've entertained you for a few hours. I will grab one of the PFTP team to join me the next time we do a watch along. It's been quite good fun. There is another race at Leopardstown. My selection for that is on our app. So if you've not downloaded it yet, why not? It's completely free for Android or iPhone. Or if you want to use it on tablet, you can do that as well. So make sure you do that. So any likes, comments, and shares on this video be very much appreciated. If you want me to do it again, then pop a comment below as well. If you've been able to put up with me for a couple of hours, then you do better than most. Obviously, we will be back tomorrow with selections from Monday, the rest of the week. Remember, also head on over to silksmagazine.com. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, we could have bashed the bookies today, and we've done rather well if you've followed me. Your support, your likes, following us on social media, that's all we'll ever ask for. But remember, fingers crossed, touch wood. And as always, good luck if you follow. I've been Rory Paddock for pics from the paddock.co.uk.